We'll start with the Hagutner of Shabbos. It says here that he should speak to Aharon, his brother, so does it mean that Aharon had reshus to come at other times? He entered Kodesh as long as he brought the korbanos. In other words, do Ma'aseh D'Avodah of Yom Kippur. Let's say on he wants to do it on Asar B'Tevis. He decided he wants to go visit the base Kiddushim. He'll do the Avodah of Yom Kippur. He's allowed to come in. It's not so posh that it's also. That's what I'm saying for Aharon. But he does because by him it's al Yavi Chalis al Kodesh. Don't come b'zois Yavi. Okay, so therefore mashma that I can come if I bring this. Right? It doesn't have to be only on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, I have to bring it because I have to go in Yom Kippur. But if I want to come in another day, Moshe Rabbeinu just wants to walk in. He walked in. The only time the Tzias is it was not Shaykh. That's the only problem. Unless in the 37 years. And it's not so posh. It says that Aharon came down on the Mishkan, v'yochel Moshe lavei ala kodesh. Why? Because the Aharon didn't let him in. And he came out as long as the Mishkan was in one place, the Aharon was there, Moshe Rabbeinu was never inside. So the question was, how did Moshe Rabbeinu ever have the Nevuah by the what do you call it? That was the Shabbos. So the kasha is either it was the Nevuah, it was only once when they took down the Mishkan. So at that time it was Ben HaKruvim. He was able to talk Ben HaKruvim. Or the pshat is that before the Kedusha was Chalon, he snuck in there for a minute and got all the past Avedas, whatever it is, the Nevuahs that came in. But he couldn't go in because it says Meferish, Moshe could not go in. So therefore it's how you can tell me he went in. So if he couldn't go in, he couldn't go in. So that's the so the question. I mean, this is a shayla which it's brought up within the thing. It's more of a shkofatik shayla. It's not a what he called, because you can learn also that he was standing outside and he was able to hear it. How is he able to hear it from the outside? Because it came till the door. And then he was able to hear it, whatever pshat is in the thing over there. But that's the lotion that's used, that he couldn't go in. Where's the pasuk? Where is it? Yeah, V'layochel Moshe. Where's the pasuk lamed in the end of Pekudah? V'layochel Moshe lavei alei almeid ki shachan olav ha'anan v'kodesh Hashem oles ha'mishkan. So as long as that existed, Moshe couldn't go in. So what's late in our cup that Moshe was in the Mishkan? So Aharon couldn't go in either. So might not give in. So it's only talking about in the time. V'zois Yav would be Yom Kippur. But I'm saying, but that's a shayla that they call out. And there's the tour is that meaning any time we want to, we can come in. Well, pshat is it had to be Dafki Yom Kippur. Well, Moshe Rabbeinu always had to just to come in. Well, it was just height, was just smoking. I can't get in anyway. Anyway, he brings a power for a chatos. It's a personal chatos. And it says, and he also has to be Shnei Sir, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then the power he brings, it says, V'chiper ba'adoi bi'ad beisai. He's mechaper for himself and his wife. Next time he says it again, V'hikre varnes ba'achatas sheshaloi, 4 psukim later. That says there that it comes the psuk Shaloi v'chipa ba'adei v'ad beisai. So Rashi, I think here should put it down. And he brings it down. Rashi doesn't touch up what it was. I don't see it anyway. And if you look in what we do, we're mishtachaved 3 times on the Avodah, One is Aleno Shabeach, which is Rosh Hashanah too. So I'm not counting that one. Then you have 3 that are done on the Avodah. 2 on the par, 1 on the soil. The 2 on the par is the one, B'chipa v'adoi v'ad ishtoi, and B'chipa v'adoi v'ad echav ha'koyanim. Both on the par. And that's the second time when it says B'chipa v'adoi v'ad beisoi, it says means echav ha'koyanim. So it says echav ha'koyanim, so that's 2 vidus he makes on the par. And this thing over there. Now, why do you make 2 vidus on the par and the thing there? So, and also, why are you calling your wife Beisai? I mean, it's a mile on your part to call your wife Beisai. Where do you see it? I think Rabbi Yisrael, the Gemara said he never called his wife Ishta, he always called her Beisai. So he brought us a Raya G'dayla, that he was more machshiv her than if you called her Ishta. Okay, cool, fine. But somehow that's not what it says. So, I mean, so we have to know why Beisai. Why you call Beisai? This house. What's a house? And I want to give a scenario. Let's say first year Kohen Gadol is elected, right? So he's came into the Kiddushim, and you have the Gemara gives a few scenarios where the Kohen Gadol talks to Rabbeinu Shalom while he's in charge of the while he's in the Kiddushim, and the Rabbeinu comes and says, Kohen Gadol, what are you doing here? He says, I came to Mechapa for Klal Yisrael. Okay, how long are you in office? I just got elected. Okay, Mechupa, finished. Next year, Kohen Gadol is in there. The Rebbeinu says to him, Kohen Gadol, what are you doing here? He tells him, I'm here to be asked for Kappa for Klal Yisrael. Weren't you here last year? Yeah, I was stuck here. But the Klal Yisrael fell down. They weren't able to keep up the Madrege. Okay, forgiven. Comes the 3rd year. So Beisha comes and says, Kohen Gadol, what are you doing? He says, Klal Yisrael fell down again. He says, you know, you guys never change. You always do the same thing. You're chayte, then you come to ask me for forgiveness. You don't want to hear those words from the Rebbeinu, right? Anything, but that's what you're asking for, right? I was chayte. I did what? Chotosi, avisi, poshaiti. I did all these, they did lahachas, right? And I'm asking you to forgive me, right? I asked you last year to forgive me. I'm asking you the 3rd year to forgive me. The 5th year, the 10th year, the 1,000th year, right? What, you learn mechutzef? You never change, anything there? So the Rebbeinu said, okay, Kohen Gadol, I'll tell you what. You do this for your wife and friends, then you can come and ask me for Klal Yisrael. You can't do it for your wife and friends, don't come to me. And that's what we tell to every Yid in the world. If you can't treat your wife, if she asks you say, forgive, I'm sorry, or she don't trust you, or she can't forgive you, then forget it. You can't ask God for anything. He doesn't want to forgive you. It's forgotten. Because it ain't me that connected me, that you can't forgive, he can't forgive you. You never change. The worst words that ever said, you never change, you always do the same thing. I changed. I didn't do the same thing. I did the same chet, but I didn't do the same thing. It took me 2 weeks to be able to do it again. And I did tshuva for 2 weeks. I was able to hold in. Then I goofed. Okay, that's a big, I'm not the same chet as I was 2 weeks ago. That's the difference, and that's the part that we have to remember. So for Shalom Bayis, and that's why I think it says Beisai. Beisai is a base. What's the Bereshis Kim? What's the base? Why did the title start with a base? Says everything is forward, nothing before. There's nothing you can't think about before. If you think about before, you go nuts. I can't think. Now you're starting anew again. I said sorry. You said okay. It's Bereshis. First Avera. Nothing, there's no past. That's Beishis. That's why it's what do you call Beisai and not Ishtay. Okay. Then you have to throw a goyrel. Now, it's very funny. What's the point of throwing a goyrel? There are only two goats here, right? One is going Lashem, one's going Lazazel. Both chatos. One is what do you call it? All goats and the same amendment. Okay, and they both look alike. Does it really make a difference which one you put Lashem or which one you put what do you call it? What's this whole point of a raffle? Why don't you just say Lashem and Lazazel? It's a very simple way of doing it. What do you have to make a gerel for? He said, the ikir is this. You don't know what Klal Yisrael looks like. What the Yisrael is. You know what it looks like. We all wear black suits, black hats. And we all land there, we all look the same. Everything else. And yet, I'm going to tell you that your Klal Yisrael is in Madrege on the left side. That means they're still in the basics. They still eat Chalfis, they still Machal Shabbos, and they still say the Chaveirot, and they have tremendous Averos. So, on the other hand, I don't know. He said, today, this year, they're all good. The only Avera they got is Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev. And Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev is not an Avera. It's Avera of Koros. So I mean, what is in there? That's the Avera that Reuven wants. You find how many Averas we have at Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev. You have every Chatos that of Rosh Chodesh, every Chatos of Yontif, and Yom Kippur. Those are all for only one chet, Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev. Why should it be? Who does any Sonavets? Who comes with Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev? The Torah doesn't want what Esav said. Esav said, Lama li b'chaycha. Right, so I says, Vayivas Esav is ha-b'chaycha. So Rashi says two pshatim over there. She says one is that he said it's only for a short time, and the second thing he said, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I don't need the job if it's dangerous. The thing is, no such thing as it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I'm careful. I want the job. I want the job. It's dangerous, but I'm careful. That's what I want. So the Reuven wants. I want you to want the job. I want you to put yourself as hakone and whatever. I want you to keep growing. I want you to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You may be able to Mikdash Kadeshev. I gave you if you did the amazing about that I'm not interested in. But if you did it b'shokek, I want you to. The mistakes will be made. I agree with you. Mistakes will be made, but I want these mistakes. These mistakes, at least you're growing. Other mistakes, you're still going downwards. This mistake you're growing with, the mistakes that you're growing, the Reuven wants. So Tumas Mikdash Kadeshev if he wants. So that's what he says. So if he comes out on the right hand, so then you know the Klal Yisrael's in Hechem Madrege. And that's the Madrege. Because we all look the same. If we look the same, so how are you going to tell if we're Goyim or not? Where does the Goyim come out to? If it comes out on the right hand, so then you know it's Lashem, it's terrific. So then that means that's the only one you need. And the other one comes at Lazazel, so therefore it means you're still on a very low level, and you felt you know the basics. You see a funny thing, that the Torah shows you the difference in how he's machshav the Yom. V'chipar la'kedesh mitunis b'nei Yisod v'sheim l'choratoisam v'chein yasel l'omoid l'kei v'cholod ma'yokei v'chipar ba'adoi u'ba'ad beisoi u'ba'ad kol kahal Yisrael. And then Loshin kahal, whenever it says that Loshin, that's a heicha madrege. If I say the word then it's a lo madrege. At the end, near Shlishi, it says, V'aron, he does the chender, v'avarachas v'sor b'mayim, what do you call it? V'lovish b'god, v'yotz v'oses halos v'seres ha'om, v'chipa ba'adoi u'ba'ad ha'om. Then the lo madrege, the what's Azozel? Azozel's lo om. is a low madrege if you're not in that madrege. Good, you're still a yid, but l'maisi you're a low madrege of a yid. You're doing averis, and that's his point over there. So that's the. Yeah. The avodah of Yom Kippurim is only by the Kohen Gadol. No other Kohen helps him. So he has to do the whole thing himself. And because of that, we know that the Shrita Sroiv is a kosher Shrita. What do you mean that the Kohen Gadol has to utilize that on Yom Kippur? Normally, when we shecht, we're not medagdik the reiv. We try to usually go for the whole thing. We cut the whole thing. Try not to hit the nafrekes, but the maise, we go for the whole thing. And the head falls down. We cut more than half of the neck. And seeing this, so that they can't support the head anymore. The head actually, after the shita falls down, and a big spurt of blood comes out and stuff like that. On Yom Kippur, you can't afford to have that happen. Why? Because you have to make the Kohen Gadol has to make the Shrita and the Kabbalah. So how is he going to make the Shrita? The Shrita is the hand, and how is he going to eat the keli underneath to get the blood? Right? He's talking about a big cow here. You have to use both hands and stuff. They didn't make Shrita Slui in those times. You got down and then you shecht it. So you got to shecht the behemoth, he shechts it, and then he has to get over there fast enough, and that you can't get there that fast. Elavos, you shecht it only roiv, and therefore it's kosher. About the blood doesn't spurt out yet. You didn't get the vriden, you didn't cut. You didn't cut the vriden. And therefore it's not cut the vriden, the blood doesn't shoot out yet. And stuff like that. Meanwhile, he gets the pan, and he holds over there, and somebody else now cuts the difference and cuts the veridin, so the blood will come out, so he can make now Kabbalah. That's the Tamat of it. So that's the thing that you do. So there's we actually use it. Normally we don't use it because, like, why shouldn't you shech the whole way? But there we can't. Right now, you have Chumash Shiur. Now, there's a difference in the first base Hamikdash. They were called the Mekoyin Mashiach. They all were anointed. What's it called there? Okay, that's Koyin Mashiach. It's Koyin Gadol. Second base Hamikdash, there was no oil, the Shema Mishcha was not there. So how do you have a Kohen Gadol? Kohen Gadol was Rubi Begodim. That was he wore the 8 Begodim. Now there's a din, is a funny halach. Now I don't know if that would make a difference. I don't know the first base Hamikdash if it ever had that, because I don't know if there ever was the guy that was the Tomei in the first base Hamikdash in the Kohen Gadol. It's only talking about history. The Gemara is talking about only what happens if Kohen Gadol got Tomei. So in the second base Hamikdash, it could happen quite often. In the first base Hamikdash, there's always a difference between the Kohen Gadol and a guy that's, let's say, another Kohen, that Mishamish if he got Tomei, the Kohen Gadol, right? So he'll put al Ruba Begodim and he'll do the Avodah. But he's still not a Kohen Gadol, he's not a Mashiach Hashem. He's still not a Mashiach. Kohen Mashiach, right? So there's always a chilik between the Kohen Gadol and the Ruba Begodim. In the second base Hamikdash, since there is no Shemen HaMishcha, so what's the difference between the Kohen Gadol who's the real Kohen Gadol, or the guy that fills in for him in case he became Tomei. They both are Merubah Begodim. So Tak in the second Beis HaMikdash state, when a guy was served in the Avodas as a Kohen Gadol, after that he can't be a Kohen at all. He can't serve in the Begodim because it's an insult to the Kohen Gadol. And he can't not serve in the Begodim, Ma'adam B'Kodesh Ve'Marin. So therefore he can't serve less than 8 Begodim. So therefore he can't serve. He's supposed to be Kohen after that. But he's not a Kohen Gadol. His children do not Yashin the Kohen. Whose child will Yashin the Kohen Gadol? The one who was in office that became Tomei. He said that. But in the Beis HaMikdash, I don't think they were afraid. The guy could have gone and used maybe Shmoyne Begodim all the time. It didn't bother the Kohen Gadol. He was a Kohen HaMashiach. So therefore, it never bothered. It was an insult to him if he uses the Begodim. Because big deal, he has to use those Begodim, so he uses it. But Lamaisa, he's not insulting me. You say, oh, I'm tending to be the Kohen Gadol. You're not going to be anything. I'm not a Kohen HaMashiach. So I don't know what was the first Beis HaMikdash. Okay, then he goes into Yin of Shchutei Chutz. Now, Shchutei Chutz is like, okay, why should there be such an Avera? Why shouldn't Rabbeinu Shalom want Shchutei Chutz? I mean, I want people who get close to God, so let them get close to God wherever they are. I want to do tshuva. Okay, go out to your backyard, make a korban, and you want Shchutei Chutz. No. Why? Because I want a discipline. I want a person to know that he can't just come whenever he wants to and decide, oh, I want to do tshuva. Bring them, God, I love you, and that's it. You're a shegitz. He's a way of doing tshuva. I want to hear you sorry. There's a whole procedure to this. It's not just the point, whenever I feel like I want it. It's not when you feel like, okay? Yeah, okay, we can hear that. It's a certain discipline. And the funny part about this is that the only Avera, that the Melochim, that were tzaddikim, not all the Melochim were not good. I mean, there was some Rishoyim among the Malchi Yehuda also. And in fact, if say one that doesn't get Olam Haba, or at least according to the Stam Mishnah, doesn't get Olam Haba. And that's Menashe. And then what over there was Rishoyim. There was Ochos, who the only reason he gets Olam Haba is because he had a son Chizkiyahu, and the son Bechapa for him. So you have to Rishoyim that doesn't deserve Olam Haba, and deserve what he called. So there are Rishoyim, right? And yet the other Malachim, which were tzaddikim, which was also Yeshofot, and the Matzia, and the Reisam, and all of these guys, they could not get rid of the Bamas. They couldn't get rid of Shchutei Chutz. The only two Malachim that got rid of Shchutei Chutz was Chizkiyahu and Yeshiyahu. And why were they so yichlistic that they were able to get through to it? Because Chizkiyahu was Torah, and therefore, there's no, don't give me the stuff you want, your motion and stuff like that. Don't you want a frumah guy? No, that kind of frumkeit I don't need, that kind of frumkeit I don't want. You have a derech how to become frum, and that's it. And therefore, don't bring me the korban, I don't want it. And Yeshiyahu, which is the din of was tshuva, everyone's looking how to do what the Benisham wants. And it didn't exist in those two times. But everybody else want to do good. I want to do good. Why don't you let me do tshuva? I want to be my chatas now. Because you're tomei, because you're in a chutz Beis HaMikdash, because you're this, because you're that. You can't bring it. Nein, I want to do it. I mean, this couples for it, and you couldn't stop it. That's the funny part. So the Yetzirah is so big that when you get emotional, to get emotional is thinking yichus. That's the thing. That's not what the Bencham wants. No, the thing. Okay. Sorry. So you have a shchutei chutz legabe zevach.
The Rebbe is saying it's better.
Sorry?
The Rebbe is saying it's better than not doing tshuva at all. The person.
I'm not saying that you can't do tshuva. Say you're sorry. That's a metzius. Yeah. You are sorry. You aren't sorry. If you're not sorry, it's nikin tshuva. But I'm saying, but even if you're tshuva, but you can't just go show it. I mean that please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. It's a joke then. That's not, as I said, and we'll go into exactly why. And why only 2 korbanos is this put there. It's rather not brought by chatos. Chatos you can't even bring. That's even there was never it's really the psukim is for oila and zevach. And why it's to those 2 specific. Okay. So the first bit has nothing to do with let's see, let's see. So I guess you saw sheyasa oala oila oizevach. Okay. Of course, an oila is mainly, let's say, I don't want to say mainly, because it's not. I don't think that the oila we discussed is the main reason is your dedication that a kol min hashemayim. But it also has a side effect because of it, that you recognize this, that if you did a yoevan and esse, that you also have to that you bring an oila. So therefore, there's the concept that there's what do you call it? So therefore, they think maybe there's an union of discipline. You have to reach a madrege. You have to want to be Baal Tshuva. It's not just that I have charot of now for a split second, and therefore I go do it. And then there's a concept of preparation. You got to prepare for it to be Baal Tshuva. I mean, whatever it is, a concept of being a Baal Tshuva. Okay. What about a shlomim? The shlomim is not a kapora. It's more of a heker. What was the heker? The heker is that Mishulchan Gavoya kochlu, whatever we eat, we're always eating Mishulchan Gavoya, and therefore shouldn't be all the mishugasin about food. Shouldn't be what he called. You should be thankful for what you get, and you should be happy with it. And there's a different asiyah, and that's what it is. There, so therefore, that's an avodah in itself. So, but maybe that, big deal. So I said it. Right now I want to show it, and it's not this thing of showing on. You have to be constant. If it's only constant, it can't be. So therefore, the Aveicha, maybe it doesn't have to be so constant. It's just that I got to get to the madrege. Okay, so that's okay. Anyway, so we need both psukim, could be. Okay. But that's the union of a thing there. And we see this Takiv Isman Hazeh, we see it with Bali Tshuva, that there's different degrees. The union of Leisala B'Mailas Al-Mizbechi. So why? Because you show your voscholov. They wore pants. You're not seeing your voscholov. So what do you do in a cup? And there's milas in the Beis Hamikdash, and there's milas all over. Shira milas, so you have 15 milas in the Beis Hamikdash. You got steps. So why on the Mizbeach can't I have steps? Point at that thing there. The idea is that the Benshel wants that when you go up, you should reach the midreg of Kedusha, that you're trying to bring out, whatever it is that you reached, that you should be able to bring it out completely. But it's a madrege that's even. When you go slow, everything comes at one time. I think you get frumer at one time. What happens when you don't? So you can see it sometimes with Bali Tshuva. You'll see a guy with long hair, ponytail, and lange payas. And you're saying, why? Because lange payas is formkeit, right? So why do you, I don't like your ponytail, but my ponytail, what's wrong with my ponytail, right? Or he'll have it, and he'll have rings on his fingers. He'll have tattoos on his body. Well, I know tattoos you can't get rid of, so I can't do that. Say so pushes or anything, but yes, it's a stira. In other words, somehow you're not at the madrege you say you are. The madrege is somehow, if you understand you need this, then you can't possibly be talking about this. If you're talking about this, then you're not up to that madrege of this. That's the point. And so therefore it should be done step by step, slowly, when on a ramp. It's a mashu for a mashu. Step means you're stepping, you're overstepping something. The next step, like that up thing there. Okay. Then he tells him a new Eisel about dam. Okay. Why is dam also? כי דם הוא הנפש. כי נפש הבוסה בדם הוא, ואני נשאת לך ומזבח לכף על נפשי שכם. So the purpose of dam is kapora. That's the purpose of dam. Not to eat, not to what do you call it. Chaylev is korbanos Hashem. You don't eat chaylev. What do you call it? But the difference is, chaylev is also only from kosher behemoth. And I always think, why? Because that's takel Hashem. A chaya, where you don't use it like Hashem, not brought to the mizbeach, can eat the chaylev. And Shem. Dam though is also even by, what do you call it? Even by behemoth, even by chaya. And that's the time because the purpose of dam, period, is the need of kapara. It's life, but it's the whole nefesh of the adam, and that's the point of kapara. So even though we're not using your blood for kapara, but you have to cover it. So then what do you call it? And the same thing goes for oifus that you do, because two oifus so you actually can bring on the mizbeach and stuff like that, and they're dam for kapara. And therefore, Pasiyas is all the dam for birds also. That's why he has the din of kiswa dam. Okay. Then it says, Ani Hashem Lokechem, K'maaseh Eretz Mitzrayim Asher Yishaftem Bo Lo Yisasu, K'maaseh Eretz Canaan Asher Ani Mevi Eschem Shom Lo Yisasu. Two people I don't want you to be like. I don't want you where you got out from or where you're going to. What about people who are not in that madrege? United States. I want to be like the Americans. Can I be like the Americans? This is mutter. Well, that's also awesome. So what difference it makes? Well, you told me don't go when you think that. So the Shiva was said that the idea is that there is no such thing as a second madrege, the thing over there. In other words, if the madrege is that's going towards Ma'aser Eretz Mitzrayim, Eretz Canaan, then it's that madrege already. Some shot like that. In other words, it's just the question of this is a little lower than this, but it's going on the way down. There's a certain madrege that we're mechuyev to have. And therefore, his Metzias is you can't, anything that goes less than being a Ben Yisrael is automatically going down to myself, Mitzrayim, Eretz Canaan. So therefore, Melech. Okay. Then it gives the meaning of the Arayis. And certain Arayis seem to be a choik, and certain Arayis seem to be a mishpat. And like, to understand them, and why they're choikim and not that I can't tell you why. I'll give you a nice little Acharei, yeah. Well, see, does it say the Lashon here? See how that was on Kiddushim it says. So hold on 1 second. What's it saying? Kiddushim Chesed. I don't know if maybe talk about it in Kiddushim, that sort of thing. No. Chesed was in the Kiddushim. So maybe we'll leave it for Kiddushim. The Indian of the Elvis, the different types of Elvis. That's Negeya. But certain ones are partial equations as a taina on the person that it shouldn't be that way. That's the main thing. And here you have where they're insults, let's say, to the wife, to your father, to what do you call it? That there's an Indian of Eishes Aviv, stuff like that. Imoi. I think there's always could be where I'm putting myself in a position to be that I'm miyuchis, equal to my father, equal to, I think, that's chutzpah. Everything there. Then there's some that, as I say, that there would be, let's say, a sister which would not have such a connotation. And so, I'm getting into going to one. Okay. I don't know if I told you about Shabbos. Did I ever tell them about Shabbos? About the Shom B'nai Yisrael? I don't know if I did. Sorry, you guys, listen to it again. But I think that's important. Because it says that I'm every time I think about it, I find it different how gauchious that I'm thinking about. And because of that, different betochen and different whatever it is. Here, this is the Lashon. Neshama b'nei Yisrael Shabbos. We say it 3 times, twice for sure. And if your guy likes a little, but you say it at Friday night, and you say it Shabbos morning, Yishmanesel. And you think that Neshama b'nei Yisrael Shabbos, Lasses Shabbos the Dereisom Bris Olam. To make it, they made it into a Bris Olam. What is this bris that we made? Bris of the Rebbeinu with the Bris Milah, says in the Ferish what the Bris Milah accomplishes. The Lashon. V'yakimaisi esprisi v'ni v'necha v'zacha achrecha l'dereisam v'bris olam liyas l'chol elokim v'zacha achrecha. The commitment. I'm your God because of this. And what's the commitment of the Seforim of Shabbos? Okay. A private kris between me and the Klal Yisrael. I see it's a sign la'olam that what? Ki sheishis yomim osa Hashem es hashemayim v'soretz v'yom ha'shvi shavas v'yinofesh. I created the world in 6 days and 6. What he's afraid of Darwin? Is telling us, I want you to know I created the world in 6 days, and not 1 billion years. And let's say it's 1 billion years means you're not God. Is that what you're telling me? Chas v'chalila, right? It took 1 billion years. And if it took 1 billion years, I don't need a mission in Ovis. What's mission in Ovis says? Asor ma'amoris nivra olam. Why? To give you schar, and every invention could have created b'mayim merachot. So why do you do it? Asor ma'amoris? To tell you that I don't want the asor ma'amoris that it gives schar for the one that's mekayim olam that was created with asor ma'amoris, and to give einish to the ones that machiv olam. So if the world took 1 billion years to make, wouldn't I give more schar to the guys mekayim the olam and the guys mevachiv the olam? So if I count 1 billion years is terrific. So Darwin should be the ganze shita for a bris olam. Who cares about 6 days? What's the 6 days one business? Secondly, 6 days is maktin HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbeinu Shem can't do anything now that he didn't do it in the 6 days. They can't make a new thing now. They zok the Rambam. If that's the case, so you're maktin HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Before then, God could do anything. Now he can't do anything. So what is this bris ois? What is this Kreis Zachte we're talking about here? And that's what, and then is what is Yom HaShvi Shavas V'Yinofash. V'Yinofash is the Neshama Yisera that the Ben Shem gave. So let's take a look at the Gemara in Beya. It talks about the Neshama Yisera. It talks about this Gemara, about this pasuk, and he says, the Ben Shem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, I want to give Klal Yisrael a matana, and I want to give him Shabbos, but I want it between me and you, between me and them. So the Gemara says, "How come the goyim are punished?" The Gemara Avodah Zarah is mashma that the goyim that were not makabel the Torah, what they were offered, are going to get punished losit lavei for not accepting the Torah. Why should they get punished if they never were even told about it? It says b'nei b'nei Yisrael. No, he told them about Shabbos. He didn't tell them about the schar of Shabbos. Inami, he told them about the schar of Shabbos too. He didn't tell them about the neshama Yisera. Oh, the neshama Yisera. So we would think about what's the neshama Yisera. Wow, I must be so holy on Shabbos, right? It's like the Rashi name. You know, you just came from a big kiddush, right? Ungefrossen good, right? And you're coming home and you say to your wife, how's the cholent going? And then you're sitting down to nocha cholent, right? And nocha shtickle kuku, nocha shtickle. How do you do that? You couldn't do that in the weekdays. How do you sleep all day for our Shabbos? Aren't you tired? Aren't you bored? Nah, you schmack. When you think over there, so you can take tainuk, you can take food that you can't take a whole year. That's a neshama Yisera. What's the neshama Yisera? That's a case of big deal to brag about. What's neshama Yisera? See, that's what the Beit is telling me. What you see, it's only between me and you, between the Yidden. I want you to know that you think I was maktin the olam. I got some of my powers I don't have anymore. So Stavisen, I control the whole world and everything that happens in the world simply by the laws of nature that I put into the world. I control it all. Now, exactly how he made Kriyas Yamsuf, I don't know, but I have a pasuk, and I'll tell me in a minute. I don't know what I mean. The Rambam says he made a Tanai with the Yam at Maisa Bereshis, that when I want you to split, you'll split. Okay? Could be. You have, on the other hand, the Goyen says the Ben Shem made ice. And therefore that was the Yabosha, it was frozen. So you walked across. Right? There's no grace akasha. Okay, what does he do with the walls? I can't answer you. I don't know the pshat with each one. If they figured it out, they didn't figure it out, it doesn't bother me. I had a big kasha on this whole Shiur, understand there, because I found a Gemara in Chulin that Pinchas ben Yair came to a river, and he told the river to split, and the river refused. He told him, I'm doing the Tziva Kodesh Baruch Hu, and my Tziva came first, and you're doing Tziva Baruch Hu. So he told him, I'll dry you up completely. Well, again, where's he going to get that keach to do that? And he says, okay, so he splits for him. Then he says, okay, and I got someone here I want you to split for also. Splits for him too. And there's an Arab over there I want you to split for. So he splits for him too. 3 times he splits the river. So how is that for Maisa Bereshis? That's a Tanai. Then Pinchas ben Yair, they told him there's a guy going to be in town, Pinchas ben Yair is going to come along, and he wants him to split the river, and he's going to split it 3 times on you. For a goy, even if it doesn't even make any sense. Right? So obviously there's got to be a natural way to do it, and I don't understand it. For goyim, maybe I can understand it a little bit. But you see that something definitely took place. This you see. What am I going to see? Here, go to Bishalach. What's it say over here? Okay. Yeah. Vayet Moshe's Hayodi al Hayom, Vayelach Hashem es Hayom beruach kodim asa kol halayla. What for? So he killed 2 pshatim. It blew the water out of his water. The Mela may force the water up into 2 sins, but I used something that exists in the world. And the thing over there, or I froze the water and I made it ice. Either way you want to learn pshat. Doesn't make like the Goyin or like the Rambam. Doesn't make a difference. But I was able to do it, that I brought in the wind that existed already. So I needed Kol Halayla for that. There's a little puddle, a little river, I don't need Kol Halayla. The Red Sea, I need a Kol Halayla. Okay. What's he telling me with that? So now the Beniman says, the guy so, okay, I left over in my hold that I have complete control of the world. Everything in this world happens because I want it to happen. That's what happens. Okay? And therefore, whatever it is, how do you know that? Look, you're telling it to me, but I don't know how I'm going to know this. I'm going to show you. And then you see how hungry you are. You think you can eat? You come home, you're hungry? You're not really hungry. Do you think you can eat? Well, I don't know if I can eat now. Sit down, find out. And you good and eat, you eat, you ganze good, you ganze suddi, eat up. Ganz good, right? How did you do that? That means I gave you the ability to eat that long. You normally would get bored. Normally you'd get to think that you couldn't take so much time. I've got to do something. I've got to do something. No. Shabbos, you don't have to do nothing. Why? Because I can make you be mekabel it. Once you know that, then you know that anything else in the world that happens, I control. So what do I mean by that? Hashgacha pratis. For eine ganze Sache, which is negate hashgacha pratis, and I see it myself, my own understandings of it, and then the thing doesn't. The Rambam, all the Ramban, the Ramban and Tamti Hashem Lekecha brings down that if someone would tell you that you're going to die a certain time, and I assume he's talking about an astrologer, because he's talking about the chokhmas before of magic and stuff, and he holds astrology as a chokhmah, not magic. He holds afal pikin, it's also for Yisrael to do, but he holds, but it's a thing. It actually does for what do you call it? That predicts the future. Of afal pikin, you're supposed to say, it doesn't apply to me. I have a shkocha pratis. And if I don't say that, I'm Eva and Esse, I'm Eva and Esse. Does it apply if a doctor tells it to you? I don't know. I have a good svara to say yes. Okay? But we got so arangiton that what the doctor tells you is a fact. It's not a fact. There's only one reife over there. You think he's telling me what he put into the teve for people to happen. You have this is what happens, this and that. You're right, these are all that happens. But that happens by goyim, not by me, not by yid. You believe it, it won't happen to you. So I'm getting more and more to believe that. That's why you hold all those gedolim, we're able to say certain things. Don't listen, doctor, there it is. I can't say those things, I'm not telling you that. But I'm saying, but I can hear it in the thing that they're able to say it because they actually believed it. And if you don't believe it, then the Malbim says you lose hashkacha pratis. So this, that they tell you 98% of people who have this will die, right? So they're judging it from the goyim, so from the 98%, so therefore, if I'm going to believe it, that's what's going to happen, you're going to die. You make me 1 or 2%, that may be. That's up to the Banishal already. But to want to figure out how big we are, that we don't even can just say, well, maybe we're the 2%. No, it's the whole world dies from it. That's 98%, but we're the 2% to stay alive. Okay, Ken San, I can't answer you that. But we're not 2% of the world. We are 0.0 like that. Then figure it out. We are 13 million in 8 billion, right? That if you want to divide it, how do you divide it? You take 13 and 8,000, You knock off 6 zeros. You knock off 6 zeros because the 6 zeros of dividing in the 13 million has 6 zeros. And a billion has 9 zeros. I knock off 6 zeros for my kasha and 6 zeros for my divisor. So it's 13 into 8,000, and that's the percentage that we are. How much do you think we are? Not too much, right? Okay. I get in there. So we won't even count many of their cheshbenis to say we're the 2%. Even all of us together are not going to make up to 2%. It doesn't make a difference. I'm saying it does make a difference, but to understand that that's the bris that the Benishim's talking about. I made this bris when you were Mekabel Shabbos, when you understood what's happening with Neshama Neseira, that's when the bris takes effect. It became a bris olam at that time. The pshat is, if you believe in me to that extent, I will have you hashkota pratis. That's where I went. And the pshat, and as I say, it makes a lot of sense. And I think then the more I chazir over, and the more things you say you shouldn't have happened, and things in the different, like it wasn't a chelik naseh the bris olam, it wasn't a chelik naseh that. Because if it was a chelik of bris olam, was a bris, and it should have been mentioned in Ma'aseh Bereshis, and the thing there, you're keeping Shabbos. Why? Because I want to make a bris with Klal Yisrael. I want to make something there. There's a point to it. It doesn't tell me any such point. So it's saying so. With Mashma, we made it the Shomer Yisrael Shabbos, Lasses Shabbos, the Teresim Bris Olam. We made it into a Bris Olam, and the thing over. And I think this is the bris. And as I say, in understanding it that way, you get more confidence that pshat nothing stands in the way of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That with the normal, whatever drachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses, and I don't understand them at all. I mean, I don't understand Kabbalah and these things for sure I don't understand, but I'm saying even what you call physics and what do you call it, I don't understand. But using the Poshet Keches that exist in the Keches HaOlam, and Pshat is how the Benshim controls it and stuff like that, that means it's individual. That has nothing to do with why this guy get cancer and this guy didn't get cancer. That's min hashemayim. It's not just that he happened to walk in the wrong place and stuff like that. That's for the goyim, but not for us. For us, it don't work that way. So if it doesn't work that way, so then why does this guy get? There's a reason for it. So therefore, there's a reason why he can go away. I can do tshuva. I can do things. So this point that we should think of in ourselves, that not so much to accept what they tell us. It's not so much important to accept that. I got to do what I do. I'll give you Bluth's teretz. Bluth has the kasha. It says the Mogen, the Mogen Shove. The doctor doesn't charge anything. He's worth nothing. That's the Gemara. So he said, does this apply? So if we would assume it to mean that the normal Taich would see, if a guy doesn't charge for his things, he's not really putting his keches into it, and therefore he doesn't really care what happens. So therefore he's worth nothing. So Rabbi Bluth asked the Kashi years ago, he said, does this apply to a lawyer and an accountant also? In other words, if he doesn't charge me, he comes and does it for me. Remember my shul, he does it for me. So I can't falazach on him because when I say it's worthless. And the thing, he doesn't put his keches into it and like that. I said, it doesn't make sense. It's tacky, you tell me you go into a guy, to a businessman who's a lawyer and stuff, and he gives you advice and he doesn't stack up for it because you didn't pay him. You're right. Probably didn't think into it and whatever it is there. But if it's your son talking to you, Talmud's talking to you, your wife's talking to you, so why would I think that that's not a valid thing? That's not totally money, that's totally another thing. Of course they'll tell you the truth, so why is it not by Oynish then? So he said that where do we learn out then by medicine that they're allowed to go to a doctor in the first place? Right? Because it says by Mazik, you have to pay the doctor bills, right? So it says, Mashma, the Benshim put as an Oynish. It's not a point you got to go to the doctor, but he wants to punish the Mazik with more money, more Oynishin, is that he has to pay for the doctor bills. So there has to be doctor bills. That means you're allowed to go to the doctor. Otherwise, there's no doctor bills if you don't go to the doctor, right? So therefore, you're allowed to go to the doctor to give you bigger bills, right? Of an accountant and these things, where with the Be'etzim, it's a chokhmah that you're supposed to know. And the thing over there, it's not when the Benjamin was your accountant and the Benjamin's your lawyer, that doesn't work that way. So therefore, states out today, you can get someone who does for nothing also. Or you get out part of the Einish. So therefore, it will be a point like that. So that part, you have to go to a doctor. That's because the Benjamin wants you to pay out some money for it. That's his emes. That's what it means. But if I pay the money and there's no hope, or the doctors don't, what else can we do for you? Whatever is there. They don't know what to do. It says, where did that disappear? Where's the Yirush come in? Where's it different, the situation now than it was before? That's the time that the Benishon has on us. And the thing, and that's the Bris Olam. The pshat is, where you giving up on? I'm here. And therefore, Memela, we always have, there's never to give up. Therefore, Memela, when we have to believe in that B'toch and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I think is Shabbos. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.